you're kicking me out of the gym right now. Wait, you're kicking me out of the gym right now because you are scared that I'm gonna take my religious symbol. So you're scared that I'm gonna take this religious symbol and kill somebody.
What I'm saying is you have a weapon on your person. A member has brought it to my attention, and for the safety of me and everybody else in the gym, I'm asking you to leave.
But, well, I don't understand though. I don't understand.
What is there to not understand? You have a weapon. You're not denying it. You're not challenging the definition. You're just saying you don't understand.
Private gym, we're allowed to deny access, and you're not allowed to.
But you allowed me in the gym with the sun. Oh, you didn't see it. You didn't see it. So what were you doing then? So
It doesn't matter if she saw it or not. You can't have a weapon in a public place.
So what do you do? Cause what do they pay you for? They don't.
That doesn't matter. That is petty.
Pay you. They don't pay you to look around. They don't pay you to be aware. You just let any random person in the gym. Then you didn't see me walking with this. I'm not harassed.
It doesn't matter if she saw you walk in with it. This is the whole point for the rule. They don't let just anybody in there. If you have a knife, you can't go in there. We don't know what you're gonna do. We don't know how you're gonna respond. That's why the rule is the rule.
I'm standing right here. I'm not harassing anybody.
So he's conflating the definition of assault or threatening and harassment. Threatening isn't harassment. He's not threatening anybody. Well, technically he indirectly is because he has a knife on him. Anybody around him should feel threatened. But that's besides the point. You challenging her reasonable enforcement of not just the rules of the gym but the law is not okay. Like, him challenging her enforcement of the rules of not only the gym but the law is harassment. You don't challenge this. You don't record yourself doing this.
This is like insane. Getting kicked out of the gym because these guys are apparently saying that this her pond is dangerous. Good life in Windsor. Good life in Windsor. It's crazy.
These people know what they're doing. They do. Before they walk into the country, before they walk into the gym, a lot of them come here hoping some conflict will happen that they can then use the controversy of to point to it being a race issue. A lot of people are just implicit and fooled by culture. It doesn't stop at simple human greed. Notice how everyone who tries to avoid politically incorrect opinions that nobody wants to talk about ends up implicit or complicit in those very issues. There's this idea that politics should be run by the people's house, whatever and whatnot. But have you seen how stupid everybody is? How unhealthy and immoral everybody is? How bad faith everybody is? How long does the world really last if it's actually run by the average people you might see at Walmart? And moreover, what does that say about political corruption? Left versus right is real, but it's completely by design. We are the biggest problem with ignorance and implicit and complicit nature in our own culture that we don't want to think about and just keep working. We are a bigger problem than terrorism or improper immigration or transgenderism or anything really, because that weakness allows all these other problems to happen, which keeps people from revolting against the idea of capitalism and its downsides, or over the handling of the Epstein files. A good example being AI cancer treatments and solar panels being impeded or controlled so that people will think those organically went tits up when they absolutely didn't. No one truly realizes just how easy it is for those at the top to keep the status quo. That doesn't change how fragile everything is or how much people take it all for granted. It keeps people swearing by it and government and politics. Even though these things can have genuine conflict and solution, a lot of it is not. A lot of it is disingenuous. That's undeniable. That doesn't mean anybody pointing out this disingenuous nature is saying everything is all bad. Progressive countries do not sustain. We are by far the biggest oppressors of our own livelihoods. Up and away by far. Not foreign interest, not mental illness. I don't care who you are, you can't carry a knife in public. So like the Henry Nowak situation in Britain where the 18-year-old was stabbed by a Muslim. I saw, and I've put this in other videos too, I saw another Muslim creator come out and say, no, we don't claim this person, only the most sacred and trustworthy from our culture can actually carry the kirpan. So this guy was actually just a bad actor. Like trying to justify the possession of the kirpan, but not how it was used. No, you cannot possess a kirpan. I don't care about your culture. You can't make an unreconcilable belief reconcilable. You can't change that. If it is unreconcilable, it's in the name, unreconcilable. The definition is in the name. I don't care who you are, you can't carry a knife around. Like, that's what these foreign interests do. They play on human nature. One minute you're starting at the idea of helping people, the next you're seeing something tragic happen to what are functional animals, oftentimes with it being self-imposed, and then you're Hassan Piker, desperately trying to see humanity where there is none to justify your own lived experience. Makes me think about that clip from the BBC talking about how women are sold so young even as children in other cultures, yet they frame it around the feelings of the father rather than the outcome of the children. This is disgusting. It is. These people want to make you think they want to assimilate with our values, duties, and culture, and they believe the average Joe working the 9 to 5 is so fortunate in the West compared to what they have. They do. They think we are the evil. Again, I don't think it's all immigrants behaving in this way, complicit with their culture and foreign interest. I just think it's always the same people doing these exact things. It's only about identity as much as it is a pattern. It's only about race as much as it is about culture. This is going to be conspiratorial, but here's a thought. I don't think it's that insane. What if a lot of these hot button issues are propagated so that they play out and run their course in the most provoking way possible so that we actually catch on to real issues because people are stupid, nobody wants to think or talk, and the system is broken. So that average Joes, some of which who decide to become criminals, some of which who decide to stay willfully ignorant, willfully unhealthy, willfully immoral, willfully complicitly overwhelmed or implicitly overwhelmed, like with how we view maturity, independence, success, what we relate those ideas to. I'm just saying, what if certain issues are propagated so that as many moderate average people as possible observe the implications of these problems? Because I feel like if things completely organically played out and the world was actually run by the average person who could go any which way, we would see a lot more horrible outcomes, a lot more implicit nature. We would see a lot more. Like, maybe I'm being unrealistically optimistic when saying that all the major issues in the world are propagated for the betterment of humanity, but I don't think it's too far-fetched when we know politics and left versus right are existent, even if disingenuous, They are existent issues, even if they are not genuine issues. Capitalism and the law are selective. Humanity is vastly more animalistic than moral. To think that those at the top missed any of that is insane. So, like, yeah, if the conspiracy makes more sense than the reality, and it's so generalized that it's pretty much already a given, and AI companies are good guys in conflicts with governments, yeah, we're pretty screwed, but at the same time, we should try and stay hopeful. We're probably going to see a bigger market crash than 2008. In 2016, transgenderism. This was something that people would talk about very quickly in passing, and then it wouldn't become like a big conversation. It wouldn't be something you'd see a lot in culture, in media. You wouldn't see it everywhere. Now you see it everywhere. Now it's a mainstream issue, but back then it wasn't. See, this is why I'm an indiscriminate racist and sexist. Unreconcilable is unreconcilable, and egotistical is egotistical. Now people are catching on to a lot of the problems with gender ideology.
If someone's existence is a problem to you, then you're the problem.
What if all these issues are propagated for the same reason that exposure therapy works? It's just a thought. And so all this improper immigration, I think it's actually doing a really good job of getting people to realize what the word unreconcilable means, what the word unsustainable means, what the phrase foreign interest means. And moreover, if this were true, what does it say about political corruption? I just wanted to yap generally about this clip because it pissed me off, as it should anybody else. I'm out, I'm gone. Appreciate what money can do, not what it does do.